Hello and welcome back to another video and another big mess test. Right, today we're going to be having, seeing as Roger is having his Dyson week this week, I thought how about doing the big mess test with a Dyson. Now obviously I can't use my light ball and I can't use the handhelds because they're still under warranty. But I know one Dyson that isn't under warranty, and I know it's the ball. This is the original ball, the DC15. So, the question is this going to be able to cope with my big mess tests? Especially with it being the ball type. I really don't think so. I don't think that this machine is going to cope with this. I think that it'll get blocked up. Now, yesterday night I had to empty the Kirby bag, if you remember the last big mess test that I did. I did it with the Kirby. And I needed to get all the dirt back out again, so I had to empty the Kirby bag. And I used the Vax Air cordless lift to try to empty the vacuum bag on the Kirby by sticking the nozzle in and taking all the stuff out of the bag. And it took me God knows how many attempts to try and get it out with that, because it kept clogging up in the bin all the time. As soon as you had the dirt start to enter the cyclone, it would just clog up. So the one machine that I can't do big mess tests with, definitely, is the Vax Air cordless lift. It will not cope with it. I mean, this was using the cylinder without even the floor head on, just as in the lift away mode, and I just used the hose to try and suck the dirt out of the Kirby bag so I could put it all back down again for the next test. And it was absolutely dreadful. I made such a mess in that kitchen cleaning out that Kirby bag. There was more mess that was left in there than there was in here, to be honest. I had it all over me. I was covered in dust at the end. But we're going to do it with the bagless one this time. If this doesn't cope, then I'll have to have a rethink and think about something else that might be able to cope with it. But here we go. Now I've done reviews on the DC15 before. I think all people know what a DC15 is now. This machine is it's ready to do the test. I'll show you the filter in a minute, but as on the last test, the entire room is absolutely covered. There was one great big bag full of dust. I mean, literally it was a bag of filth. You can see on here that it is absolutely thick with heavy dirt and grit in this carpet. The same as it was for the Kirby. Exactly the same thing this Dyson here is going to be expected to do, or asked to do. The Kirby managed to pass it. If this by any stretch of the imagination actually does clean all this up, then I shall do exactly what I did on the last test, and I will go over the supposedly clean carpet with the Dyson V8, which is fully charged and the bin's empty, and we'll see how much is left in the carpet. Now, it didn't get a lot out after the Kirby had finished. Will it get a lot after the Dyson? Will the Dyson even cope? Will it get blocked up after the first few passes, or even the first pass? Am I going to keep having to... it's going to have 3 attempts. If it gets clogged, I will unclog it. I'll only do that 3 times if I can. If the clog happens in the floor head here and I can't get the clog out, usually you can by removing the hose. So it's quite easy to remove clogs from. And there's another clog port here. I've got a feeling if it's going to clog anywhere, it'll be in the floor head here on this this joint, or it could clog on the entrance to the bin here, which was what I found with the air cordless lift. It came into here and they kept getting jammed here because it hadn't got the power to pull the big chunks of dust through. It just hadn't got the sheer power. So now, if I take the bin off, and we will have a look at the filter before we start by tipping that back. The filter is, as you can see, clean. And we're going to have a look at that. If it does pass, if it does get all this up, we'll have a look at the filter at the end. And just see how effective the cyclones were on the original DC15. And there it is. It's quite a big bulky machine now compared to the balls of today, because I know Dyson's made his balls a lot smaller now. Yeah, I mean this was quite a big ball, but they've removed all the bulk from around the side of here now, made it a lot more slimline. But anyway, enough of the chat. Let's get that closed up, get that back on there. Now I'm going to undoubtedly have to empty that bin quite a few times, and I will empty it into here. This was the bag that it came out of, which was virtually full. So, let's see if the DC15 is going to be able to cope. There, we can just about make all the carpet out there. Okay, there is some just slightly down here, but that's pretty much where the line of dirt ends down here, so just at the bottom of the camera screen is where the line of dirt ends. Let's go. Let's see what happens then, shall we? So, as you can see, that is absolutely full to the max line here. It's done pretty well. What I'm going to have to do as well is, if this shroud gets clogged up here, I will have to brush that off to give it a fair advantage, which is what usually happens with these, is that will get completely coated. I'm doing it really as the manufacturer states, by trying to empty it when it gets to the max line. Okay, that's the first bit. There we go, that's the next one. So what I'm going to have to do is just use the brush to just brush the shroud off. know I haven't done this in previous big mess tests, but it's been suggested to me that this is what I ought to do really, to give it a fair advantage by making sure that the shroud is kept clean. Which is what we would do if we had the cleaner normally, because we'd obviously we'd clean the shroud if it got dirty. So I'm just going to put the bin back on it now, cleaning the shroud. Let's go again. And another bin full. It gets full quickly, even a bin of this size. That's the third bin. There we have again another bin. That's 4. And I think I might have to clean the shroud on the next one, because it's the shroud, it does tend to get clogged quite quickly, but there is enough free space on it just at the moment, so we might go another one yet. Well, now what happened on this one, it's most of the dirt, rather than going into the bottom of the bin, has got trapped around the top here. This is what I found with the Vax Air cordless last night. Most of the dirt was actually getting trapped up around there instead of going into the bottom. So I'll have to clean that out now. I'll have to take the bin off. They don't call this big mess tests for nothing, because you don't have to make a mess when you've got to empty these things. Slightly off shot, I don't think the camera's catching me empty the bin here, but what I'm doing at the moment is I'm just giving the shroud a quick scrape off just to uncover the holes. because I mean I am really asking this machine to pick up an absolutely huge amount of dirt. Right, so that's done. And what I'm trying to do is just to put the bin back together. There we go. And let's carry on. I think that was, what, 5 bins? Right, and there we have it. There is the last bin. As we can see, I think that's pretty much 6 bins, wasn't it? Completely full. But it's managed to do it. It's managed to clean all the mess up without clogging once in the bottom where I thought it might have done. Very, very surprised with that. there we go. Let's just leave that off just for a second while I'm going to wipe my hands. There we go. So there's the machine. We'll just have a look in the bottom of the brush roll, shall we, and see what that looks like. Now I'm very, 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 very surprised that this machine was able to clean that up, because this side of the brush roll here, there is the belt in the middle, or the drive. So any dirt sucked up on this side here, where the hose comes out of this side. So this dirt has to manage to transfer to that side of the brush roll. I don't know how it manages to do it without clogging, but it seems to do it. It's only a very small brush roll aperture in there, but it pulled it all up, and it doesn't look like there's any clogs at all in that brush roll, so it's done very, very well. And we have the large debris channel here on the front, so that would have helped. Right, so that's that. I'll have a look at the filter in the top. If you remember before that test, and I've picked up, I mean, this is what happens when you just have to empty these things and you just make mess everywhere. But that literally is full. That bin is full of dust to the top, look. That's how much I put down. It's just gone everywhere. Right, before I just quickly put the V8 across here, look at that. There's the bottom of the filter, there's the other side. There's no trickery involved there. That's how much dirt has got on the filters, okay? These old Dysons, right, these old machines, they kept their filters so clean you just wouldn't believe it. That, as far as I'm concerned, is a fantastic result. They were absolutely brilliant at filtration of the dirt, these older Dysons were. There we go. No dirt was blown out the side, no dust, sorry, no air. All the exhaust air would come out of the top here, so it wouldn't blow across the floor, which I thought was a good idea. Right, let's get the V8 out and give the carpet a quick going over with that and see how much this can get out. See how much the Dyson DC15 might have left behind. Right. Here it is. The bin is empty. There's nothing in there. I just pull it up. Absolutely nothing. It's clear. No trickery. Let's go then. Put it on max. there we go. So that's gone over it with this. There isn't really very much in here, but we will have a look anyway. Take the bottom off, the agitator. Again, I'll put this pad on the floor. And we'll just have a look to see what the V8 got out of there after the DC15 had been over it and removed 5 bins full of dirt. Right, just tap it first before we do it. Make sure I get everything out of the cyclones. There we go. So, well, obviously we can see there's quite a bit of fine dust deposited on that tube there, which there wasn't before. And very, very similar to the results I had from the Kirby yesterday. So I went over it with the Kirby, and when I went over it with the V8 afterwards, it was able to remove a fair bit of the fine powder, but not an awful lot. Not an awful lot in there, is there? You'd have to agree. The DC15, provided you empty the bin regularly and keep that shroud clear, it cleaned up, and that was all that's all it left. That was all that this machine, which is the V8 on max, and I pushed it across the carpet one way and then across the carpet from the other direction to give it a good clean down there, and that was what was left. It still goes to prove that whole famous rule, though, doesn't it, that he who vacuums last always wins. No matter what vacuum that you'll use, whether it's a Dyson or whether it's a Kirby, whoever goes along afterwards, even with one of these, will always find more dust in the carpet. So there we go. I will do another big mess test coming up soon with the mealer that I didn't do the other day. But I thought, seeing as Roger's done lots of Dysons this week, I'd have a big mess test with the DC15. So we'll see you all again on the next video. Bye for now.